Welcome to the Bloom Where You're Planted podcast from Never Too Late Cafe. I'm your host, Laura Womack. Each week we sit down for a chat with someone just like you, someone who had an idea, a passion, a dream, or sometimes just a thought, and planted that seed, watched it grow into something they wanted to share with the world. If you have an idea for a topic or someone that would be a guest for the Bloom Where You're Planted podcast, feel free to reach out to us on Facebook, where you can join our Never Too Late Cafe Facebook group. We'd love to hear from you. The month of November is a reminder to be grateful and thankful for what is positive in our lives. This week, we will take a look back to some previously released podcasts where guests John Lynn, Teresa Storch, Peter Lasis, and Arlen Andrews share what Bloom Where You're Planted means to them.
This podcast is called Bloom Where You're Planted. That means something different for everyone. So can you tell us what that quote means to you?
Yeah, I thought about this a little bit. I think it's such a wonderful prompt for discussion, Laura, because there's so much there. It's already an analogy to plants that grow. So it's like we're just talking about development, artistic development, and it kind of makes me think of that. I just read Mary Gaucher's book. I don't know if you know Mary, but she's a wonderful songwriter out of New Orleans. Has written some really iconic folk songs, and she wrote a book called Saved by a Song. And at the beginning, she talks about how really bringing forth what's inside you is really a way of saving yourself. And if you find that you can't bring forth what's inside you, it can eat away at you. It can even kind of destroy you. It's like, and I kind of feel like Bloom Where You're Planted to me means in some way sort of allowing what's inside you, no matter where you are, to come out of you. And to me, that's what art and songwriting is about, that I can get to things that are buried in me underneath my conscious mind through music and poetry and writing that I really can't access any other way. And they help me to bring out that light within me. It's sort of like the old spiritual, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. It's like that. Like there's something in me that wants to come out, and can I help with others? I have a friend who I call the midwife of my records. She really has coached me through making records, because there's a lot of resistance involved in putting your little artistic children out into the world, your little songs, and they're so personal and people are going to see them and you don't know how they're going to react to them. And so we need others to help us give birth to this sort of authenticity that lies somewhere within us, although I do it imperfectly, but that's sort of what I think of, at least in part, is this general sense of allowing something to emerge from you. And in terms of where you're planted, that's the other side of it. It's like, in some ways, it doesn't matter where. And I also think there are places for me that suit me better than others. It's like I can choose where I want to plant myself. I do have some choice in that. And no place is perfect. No relationships are perfect. No collaborators are perfect. No song is perfect. So it's partly for me about letting that imperfection emerge without getting distracted by, if only I were there, or if only I had this. I was talking to my wife about this morning, and it's kind of like yoga, where there's this tension between letting go in your life, or letting go in my artistic life, but also effort. Like I have to do work. I have to put one foot in front of the other. I have to show up for my writing. I have to see if I can book gigs. I have to solicit students. That's putting one foot in front of the other. But at the same time, there's an element of letting go, of uncertainty, of stepping into the unknown. And these things are always in tension. So I kind of feel like wherever I am, those are going to be aspects of my life, like that tension between doing and not doing, between trusting the universe and doing my own footwork. And I'm always kind of missing the mark there, like doing too much work or not enough, trusting too much, trusting not enough, so it's a moving target. And I feel like being in community with others is really a great way to kind of keep perspective on all of it. So, I live in Washington, D.C. It's not Nashville. It's not Austin. It's not Boston. It's not New York. But Bloom Where You're Planted, it's like we can do our own thing here. DC's got its own thing. We have a vibrant artistic community. We have our own styles of music here. We have our own emphasis. We have our own culture. And I can be the musician I am here. Doesn't mean I wouldn't want to go to New York or Nashville, but it's okay. My life seems to be here right now, and that's okay.
Gosh, I found it really interesting to go from where I really started in Boston as a musician. I still call it my music family out there. I still go back. I visit them when I can. And so I feel like I initially bloomed there, and then I got transplanted back to Colorado. Well, actually, I guess it's sort of like I sort of started my music life in Colorado, but I didn't really grow a lot until I got to Boston. So now coming back here, it's been an interesting ride. It's been a little difficult to get back going, and building a band and building a following. And then, of course, now with the pandemic, everyone has struggled to be a musician in any whatever form they are. So we're really excited now. I think we're finally looking at this new record we've been working on. We're finally connecting with more musicians here, finding the people that really feed us and creatively but in Colorado. And it seemed a lot easier to find a scene, to find a group of musicians in Boston. I don't know if it's geographically Boston's smaller, more people, more venues. Here it's I have to drive a little bit if I want to get out and about. And then we've had the busy lives of actually still working day jobs and stuff. So it's just been taking us longer. And that is where I think we're finally blooming. I feel like we're finally excited and ready to really get involved in our music scene and be part of it and get known here in Colorado. And finding Peter, I didn't find him till I came back to Colorado. So grateful to have a partner that is in my music life with me. And I missed that. I was really wanting that for so long as I traveled alone.
I remember.
Who knew, here, just stopping traveling, I found. Go ahead, sorry.
What was your dream? I remember you wanted someone to be a part of music with you, and by golly, you got it.
Yeah, it just took stopping touring and staying in one place and getting a job. It's just hilarious, though, the things that brought me to here, which was a dream of, many years ago.
It's like the characters in these stories, look around, figure out where you are, why you're there, what's the situation. Is there an imminent threat? Is there an imminent opportunity? No matter where you are, there you are. I mean, I've lived in 10 different states over the years because my engineering job has taken me all around the United States, and actually for a while in Hong Kong, right before, 6 months before the massacre at Tiananmen Square, where my son happened to be in town in Beijing at that time. But wherever you are, there you are. Make the best of it. There's always opportunities. If you're going to be a writer and you're put in a new environment, that's a fantastic opportunity, because the opportunity is, how do you respond to something totally new? How do you respond to something that's really, really nice, or something that's a threat? And that's where writing comes from. It has to come from inside the person. That's what it means to me.
We wish you all a happy Thanksgiving, and we will reconvene after the holiday for another episode of the Bloom Where You're Planted podcast sponsored by Never Too Late Cafe. So as our time comes to a close, remember to keep creating, keep sharing, and keep supporting each other. And remember to bloom where you're planted. Bye for now.